What's up, Cleveland? It's the face of the franchise, broadcasting live from the West Bank of the Flats, enjoying the sunshine and beautiful weather, and of course, these West Bank 10s, which, as we know, are East Bank 7s. But nevertheless, we got the perfect remedy to cure what ails you. We got brand new Zup music. That's right, he is back. Zup, right here on Nervy J's Radio.
Y'all, I finally feel like I'm done healing. My confidence is through the roof. I'm breaking the ceiling.
All right. Welcome to another episode of Stay Beautiful America. I know it's been a minute. I had to get my computer upgraded, but I'm glad to be back in the studio. And I got a big time guest here today. I think, in my opinion, this is pretty big time for me. I'm here with Zup, Cleveland artist and entertainer, performer. I didn't want to classify you as a rapper because I feel like you're more than that.
Thank you.
But I didn't know what the type of genre the music was because I felt like it could have fell into a couple different categories.
My buddy said a really good, pinpointed it really good. He said alternative R&B.
Oh,
and I was like, that's
pretty good.
Yeah, that's good.
So me and Zup met a couple months ago at the Trap House Rave show with Coley and everybody, and Coley's the one that kind of helped me introduce each other for us. And I just remember we added each other on Instagram. You started liking my content. I started seeing what you were up to, and I was like, oh, this guy's pretty cool. I would definitely be down, and you were giving me some suggestions for a drink, and then I said, well, come over, let's do a Mixin' with Nixon, let's do a podcast. And I think today is a perfect timing because, the biggest reason I have you here today is the Cleveland Scene Awards 2023 Best New Album. You're nominated. I kind of just want to give you the floor to talk about it. I'll have some questions, but what does this album for me mean to you? Because I can just tell after I listened to it today, there's a lot of powerful messages in those songs.
Yeah, this album means everything to me, I took a long break from making music, almost 10 years.
Yeah.
And God,
I was gonna say I noticed that on Apple.
Yeah, it's
there was a 10-year gap between albums, so that was one of my questions. So
yeah, so I took some time off and everything, and in 2020 I decided to buy an MPC and start making music again. I told myself, I'm like, all right. I was sitting there with my mouse on the purchase button. I'm like, if I buy this, I have to make an album. I have to do it. There's no backing down. And I bought it, and it came through. And actually, Jim from Trap House Rave, he has the same MPC, and he let me mess around with it. And I'm like, oh, man, this makes me want to make music again, So, but a lot of stuff has happened in the last 10 years of making music, and I just told myself if I was to do music again, I wanted to do it for no other reason but to do it for myself, which is hence the name For Me. You know what I mean? So I was like, I'm not going to do this because this person's telling me to do it, or that person is, or because I need to, or blah, 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 blah. It was just every song that I'm going to put out on here has a reason to be on here, and it means something to me to be on here, so.
Cool. Okay, so I do want to be honest with you because I told you earlier, I listened to the album today for the first time. I listened to it from start to finish. And I was in dead silence. I didn't talk to anybody or respond to texts. I just needed to take in this music for what it's worth. And it was about 40 minutes. And I have some notes here if you don't mind. The Lost and Found, very mellow. I liked the part with the voicemail with your dad, and the ending was very cool. I liked how you had some of those quotes to end some of the songs. Lightning Rod, very cool intro. It gave me a Phil Collins vibe.
Ooh.
I was digging it. What else we got? I think Vintage Soul, I thought John Mayer a little bit. Two different styles. My favorite though, Better Off. The beat and it's a clap along song, and then that beat drop, it hit twice. I was because I love to play air drums, so I'm sitting there I'm just sitting there listening to it. I'm like, yeah, I'm about this. And I really I think I said, the messages behind some of these songs I think were just so cool. I couldn't memorize all these notes because I have about 2 paragraphs worth, but I just thought it was so authentic and genuine. And I think that's something that you can't fake. You can't, try to come across that way. You are or you're not. And that was just what I felt like listening to the tunes. Like, and you're still in the library. I'm not taking you out. So next time I'm at the gym and that comes on my shuffle, like oh, my man's up. Yeah, let's turn this shit up.
I appreciate it. Yeah, Lost and Found with the voicemails or whatever. Sorry, it's about to get deep in here. This is this is what I do every time. So my mom passed away in 2014. And when she passed away from cancer. So when she found out she had cancer, I was actually at the Indians back then's home opener. I didn't have service, and I had a voicemail from her, which is actually the intro to the album of her saying, "Oh no, I'm sorry, that's in Unexpressed Love." That voicemail. But her voicemail, I was going through some stuff, and she left me the voicemail that ended up being the intro. And I remember saving those voicemails, like emailing them to myself, because I'm like, if I ever lose these, I'm going to be real upset, So like when I was emailing to myself and I was listening to them, like if I ever made music again, like this is how I'm going to like do the intro to my album with that.
I thought that was I thought that was a fucking amazing way to start it off. Like,
thank you.
I was literally like, it took me a second. I'm like, this isn't a song, but a lot of people do like kind of weird intros or different intros, but that right there, I could just tell that it was about to get powerful.
Yeah,
I knew it was gonna get deep.
For the people that like don't know, so if somebody like you would never know, right? Like my mom passed away, all this stuff. You listen to it, and as the Lost and Found kind of starts, and then like when the rap verse comes in, you kind of go, oh, like. He said since Jackie died, and this was Jackie intro, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
it kind of starts like piecing itself together.
You told a story, and I thought that was fantastic.
And it was funny because I didn't know how to do that third verse, so I like sat on that song for so long. I'm like, where do I take this third verse? How do I start it? And then it was the anniversary of my mom's death, and my dad called me and left me a voicemail and was like, just want to see how you're doing, that's on the actual song. Yeah. And I was like, oh my God, this is how I'm going to start this verse,
Yeah,
so it all kind of
cool.
It all worked itself out.
Genuine, like sincere. I was like, damn, this dude's seen some shit. Like, so it was pretty heavy. Now, do you have like a favorite track though on this album at all? Like,
there's like the way that this album is kind of like split up to me is like different types of ways, right? So like different feels.
Yes.
So I would say Lost and Found is for sure like probably my favorite song because it was like a redemption song, or like I was in such this low place in 2020, and by the end of that year, like through therapy and all these things, I kind of like found myself again, like I have the lyric that's like, how am I supposed to fall in love if I don't love myself? And that was like literally something I was going through. Yeah. It was like I hated myself. I hated everything about it. So to like put that feeling into a song was that will never be replaced. But the song Fingerprints, which is like super R&B.
Yeah, that sounded like Baby making me.
Yeah, I love that song so much.
That was cool
because it's so different from anything I've done. And then Better Off is also up there too, like you were saying.
Yeah.
Like, from a technical standpoint for that song, because there was so many different drums in that song.
Oh, it was.
It switches up styles so much. I remember telling people about that, and they were just like, okay, we trust you, and then when it happened, it came together.
Well, I also really like a lot of songs, you really switch the flow up. Like, it'll be kind of slow, maybe mellow, and then, like, there's a surprise verse where it's like, oh, now he's going to go in real quick. And I'm like, and it all works out so well together, and I was really impressed, because, I'd never know what to expect, but you want to give something a fair shot, just like wing reviews and drink making,
Right, yep.
You don't want to go in there with an opinion, and I just was like, wow, that's really cool. I can't wait for this guy to come over now.
I appreciate it.
Now, and then again, on that other type of topic, then, how important is mental health to you? Because I kind of thought, almost in a sense, like, that album had a lot of, preaching, take care of your mind, make sure you're all good up here, because if you're not good up here, the rest is going to fall,
Yeah, that's a good way to...
That was just kind of what I interpreted.
Mental health is extremely important to me. When I was younger, I was like, I think most people are, where it's like, I don't need therapy. What do I need to talk to somebody about? Or, a lot of men are like, They hide their emotions. They're just kind of like, nah, like, I'm fine, everything's fine, let's just like shove it all down. But I started going to therapy, after, like, right before my mom passed away, right? Like, a bunch of stuff happened, and I started going to therapy, and that changed my life. If I didn't have therapy when my mom passed away, I don't know how I would have handled it. I just wasn't, just wired differently, I wasn't in a good spot, and, like, therapy just helped me kind of, like, take those wires and put them back the way they were supposed to. And I genuinely believe that, like, everybody should go to therapy, even if you don't feel like you need to, because it's just good to talk to somebody who's, one, a professional, like, went to school for this, and two, doesn't really know you.
Yeah, they're not going to have any prejudgments or connotations.
Exactly. So they can just be like, you're fucking up, or, you know what I mean, or whatever. And it's like, therapy's great because sometimes I go into it, a lot of times recently. I mean, I still go. Recently, it's like, I got nothing to, like, complain about. Nothing's going wrong. Everything's okay. And then, they kind of start picking apart at things, and you start having these aha moments, like, oh my God. And I don't know, therapy's just helped me in so many parts of my life, not just, like, being a better person, but, like, everything, like organization and planning, and you know what I mean, like, everything I do, like, even with my music, like, strategically, is all I couldn't do if it wasn't for therapy, for helping me with, like, just clearing headspace and stuff, So.
No, that makes complete sense. And I mean, you mentioned you're always on time, you're always early.
Yeah, I'm always like,
you're organized, and you think because of therapy that's credited you to that?
100%.
Wow.
Oh yeah, it's crazy. I
thought just some people were wired that way. Like,
I'm sure they are too, but therapy for me, I mean, I've got ADD. I'm, like, all over the place all the time, and I've got, like, two calendars on my phone. I've got, like, 3 calendars at my house. And they all got the same stuff on it, and people make fun of me, but, like, that's how I keep myself organized. And
that's funny. I have the calendar on my phone that I put in, like, events or just things, but then I also have one on my computer that I fill out every week. Every Sunday I come up here and I write out the list of the week, like, what are we posting today, what are we filming.
Oh, that's smart.
Like, and that way I can keep track of everything. And, like, I even set, like, small goals for myself. Like, my goal was, at first, it was 75 videos by the end of the summer. I started this channel in, I want to say, either end of March, early April. I'm already at 80, so I bumped the goal up to 100. I said, "Fuck it, like, keep going." When's
summer end? What's the official
date?
My
my official end of date summer is August 31st.
Oh, okay.
I thought that was a fair, like.
Yeah, you'll definitely hit that.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
That's what I love about your channel. It's like, some people just post stuff here and there or whatever. I mean, I'm guilty of that. That's kind of what I do. Like, every once in a while, you'll get something from me. But you're just like, every time I go on Instagram or, like, Facebook or something, I'm like, oh, man, another one, you know? And it's like, I gotta, sometimes I'll like it before I watch it, because I'm like, I'll go back and I'll watch it, and then I'll go back and watch it. Like, I wrote on the one, I'm like, great, I can't watch this when I'm hungry.
Yeah.
Because you're, like, eating wings. I'm like, oh, my God. Actually, yeah. I'm just, like, all the time, I'm always hungry when I'm watching those videos. But I appreciate that, and like we were talking about before, this is, like, kind of like the TikTok generation, where you gotta constantly be in people's faces all the time with stuff, but you're doing it in the right way, because it's like, you can't go wrong with food and drinks, you know what I mean?
Yeah, like,
and then, like, having interviews and stuff, and people like stuff like that. You're doing it good, so.
I just feel like I'm just trying to be, like, that cliche phrase, I'm trying to I'm unapologetically myself.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like that's what I'm going for. Like, when you watch that, you're like, I think I know this guy.
Yeah,
like,
yep.
He seems very I just always want to be down to earth and relatable, and I feel like at the end of the day, that's what people need. Like, none of us are really, I feel like, Instagram models, and I wouldn't want to look like that, and I wouldn't want to be one of those cheese balls that makes, like, the really scripted videos, and it's, you're like a robot. Like,
right.
Everyone's heard my videos at this point. Like, I stutter, I fuck up, I don't know what I'm saying sometimes, and I can't decide, and it just comes out as like, yeah.
Right.
But it's just like, just keep it rolling.
Yeah, that's what that's why, that's what makes America beautiful, right?
Pretty much, and that was the theory behind it. Like everyone's got a story, everyone's got a different path in life, and why not share it? If you have something that separates you and makes you unique from the rest, and you want to come on and you want to share that, I'm all here for it, because at the end of the day, life's too short.
Absolutely.
And I'd rather get to know as many good people as I can than just limit myself to the same group of people like over and over and over, like and I always think it's just fun to learn something new about someone. Like I was telling you, I just want this to feel like two people sitting at a bar having a drink. They just met each other and they're shooting the shit, and then you walk away and you're like, that's a cool dude.
Yep.
Like I like that guy.
And that, you made a good point, because me being in the Cleveland music scene for as long as I have, I've seen the cliques of people that don't want to ever venture out and talk to other people or meet other people and stuff like that. And it's like, no, you can't grow that way. You know what I mean?
No.
And what's the fun in that? You know what I mean? Granted, I love the people that I am probably the closest to, but nothing's more exciting to me than being accepted into a group that you would normally not think I'd be accepted into, and just making new connections and friendships and stuff. It's awesome. I love it. Good for you.
I just love meeting strangers in general. If I can go out and meet someone new or put a smile on someone's face and they walk away and they're like, that guy was really nice. Even if I just hold the door for you and say, I dig that.
Right.
I dig your shirt. Oh, that's a cool hat or something. And then that person, they could be having the worst day in the world, but you don't know what that means to them.
Yep.
They could be like, oh, that guy was really cool. So I feel like that's just a good philosophy to have.
Agreed. Absolutely.
Speaking of the music thing again, do you have a favorite venue that you like to perform at? I know that after that...
I mean, I've been sleeping at the Foundry.
Yeah, I was just about to say. That was a good video.
Thanks. That's what everybody said. They're like, this is my favorite one. Yeah, I mean, Foundry is awesome. I just haven't... Since I've been back making music, I've only performed at the Foundry in North High. But I know, there's been every venue has their thing or whatever, but, I always love Ray.
Oh, I did have one other thing I needed to mention to you. This is from a writer or a viewer, and it just said, what's it like to be second place forever?
Oh, I wonder who that was.
I don't even know what it means. He goes, he'll know what it means, and I'm like,
So, this is Coley Colgate, in case anybody was wondering.
My idea man, my hype man.
So this is going to be a very long answer to this question.
There's nothing wrong with that. We got all the time in the world.
So when I started making music, I was in high school, and I was rapping, just strictly rapping, right? And we were rapping over 3 6 Mafia beats and Dr. Dre, Chronic 2001 beats. As we started evolving, I was like, do we want to do this forever? Why don't I look into making my own beats? So then I started making my own beats. They were terrible, but I started, right? So then, they started turning into stuff. That's when I started using the Acid Pro 4.0. And then I, fell in love with producing. So then all I did was strictly produce. So, I had people just coming over all the time, and I was just recording people and producing for people and blah, 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 blah. Fast forward, I moved to Cincinnati with the next girlfriend. I was living with her, and then I was like, I'm going to make this, this instrumental album, right? I'm just going to take obscure samples and make beats out of them. So I took Red Red Wine by UB40, and I was made this beat out of it. And I'm like, this is awesome. Me and her broke up. I ended up moving back to Cleveland. So I ended up writing to that song. I'm like, I'm going to write a song. I haven't written a song in forever. So I wrote the song Drunken Sunburnt. And I put it on Facebook, and I was like, here's the song I did. This is, no one gave a shit. I had 1 like on it, right? It was probably me. So then my one buddy, Mike Nice, hit me up and was like, hey, Rover's Morning Glory is doing this contest. You send your music in. If it gets picked, then they'll pair you up against other bands, and whoever wins goes the next round, and then whoever wins it all performs at Roverfest. So I was like, cool. So I submitted it, forgot about it, because I'm like, no way they're going to pick this, right? It's rap. And then I woke up one morning, and I had 38 text messages from everybody, they're playing your song on Rover, they're playing your song on Rover. So I'm like, what?
That's sick.
So then I started listening to Rover, and it was like, you moved to the next round, you moved to the next round. So every day I kept moving to the next round. And then it was like the final round. And came up, who's going to win first or whatever. And I ended up losing. And it was this band called the Pirates of the Burning River, which actually the one guy, Pags, now plays in Tropidelic. And I'm friends with all the guys, like not all the guys, but some of the guys from Tropidelic. It's just funny, full circle moment.
Yeah.
But anyways, so they ended up winning, so I came in second place. The next year, okay, so at that point, I wasn't prepared to make music. Like, I was like, I just put this one song out, so next thing I know, I'm like, all right, I got to start writing more songs. So I started writing more songs. By the second year, I had like 5 songs, maybe. I had a little EP I put out. So I submitted my song Cat Burglar, second year. Makes it all the way, second place, lose again. I don't even remember who I lost to that year. So then that's when Colgate started like, oh, second place again, right?
Yeah, I can see him saying it.
Oh, yeah, he loved it. Oh, yeah, so this motherfucker, so I did a song with him, and he named the song Silversmith only for the reason that I came in second. There's literally no reason that song should be called Silversmith.
Wait, you guys have another song together? I only saw the one on Apple.
Yes.
I listened to it.
So me and Colgate, we go back 10 years, so like I produced his whole fucking Sweet album, and I have a song on there with him called How Many Drinks. And then I did a song with Trap House Rave, which I can't remember what they named it. Was it Second Best? No, they named it something that was like a dig at me too. I'm like, these fucking assholes. But anyway, so then the third year I had my album had just come out. So this was 10 years ago. And I put a song called Life Jacket for Two to Rover. They played it. Came in third place. And finally, Doogie called me up and was like, do you want to perform? So I was like, yeah, sure. They were probably like, stop sending music. Just go on. Just go perform.
Wait, did you send the first song?
I did.
Oh,
so
he just it in.
Yeah, my buddy recommended it.
Okay, gotcha.
So yeah, so that third song, or so when that happened, when I performed at Roverfest, that's when Nelly was performing and the Wailers.
So again, I always like coming back to your music.
Yeah, sorry, we keep sidetracking.
That's fun though. It makes it enjoyable. But with your music, how do you get into your creative process? Because that's always something. I've never been musically talented. I don't sing. I don't play any instruments, but I always love music. People go, do you listen to podcasts often? And I'm like, no, I listen to just music. And they're like, well, you have a podcast. And I go, well, I don't really, it's not that I don't enjoy it. It's just, music to me is just so powerful. It really, it can make your day.
Absolutely.
Anything. It doesn't matter what type of music either. It's just, it hits for me. So in terms of someone who's not creative, who's never written a song, who doesn't play any instruments, I'm always just curious, how do you go about getting in that zone, and how do you just, make the magic?
It varies, Sometimes I'll have an idea, or I'll see something, or I'll experience something that gets the gears turning,
Yeah.
Even just watching a movie, sometimes seeing people interact or whatever. I love watching people and seeing how people interact with each other and stuff. And the one thing that people don't like to agree with, but it's undeniable, is that we all are so connected and we all experience the same thing, and finding ways to take something that I find interesting and putting it into music and connecting it to people, so it's different groups of people can all come together and be
relate.
I get this, what I mean? I relate to this a lot, I know you said you like Better Off, that's a simple pop concept of every time she wears that outfit, I don't even want to leave, I just want to take that shit off, and it's that's a kind of a universal thing for anybody, somebody that they're attracted to, they see them looking really good, they're just oh, you know what I mean? And then it's something that's maybe not everybody has experienced, but the loss of my mother or whatever, it's I want to write a song that's honoring her, but also explaining everything she went to, so people that have gone through that can be man, I get this. I know where he's coming from. And the people that don't understand it can still feel the pain in it too, So it's kind of just like I love experiencing life and like putting it into paper and everything, and sometimes the ideas come first, sometimes the instrumentation comes first.
Yeah.
It all kind of varies, you know. But I will say this as kind of a teaser to something coming up. So last year I went to Ocean City. It was like the first vacation I'd taken since when I was married and I took a honeymoon. So it was like my first week-long vacation. I took off work. I was so excited for it or whatever. Me and my girlfriend Alicia, we went to Ocean City and we were on the beach. We were walking down the beach and I saw a bunch of people like on their phones, right? I'm like, why are all these people on their phones? You know what I mean? We're like in front of this like beautiful ocean and all this stuff. Like, what are we doing, you know? And it like had my gears turning for like a song. And I always had this idea for the song. And, you know, so I ended up, without going into too much detail, getting this beat from somebody else that I'm currently working on a song for that or whatever. But it's like, sometimes it takes a year for like a concept to come. And sometimes it's like instant, you know, and I don't know. Hope that answers the question. But I feel like I was
very well.
Okay.
And I was gonna say the part about, you know, you said it about your mom, like that song for me, I knew that exact feeling, and I just thought that was super, like, you know, I didn't know what to expect at all. The only time I ever heard of you, any of your music, was that Trap House Rave.
Right.
And that was kind of tough for me because, one, there was a lot of people. It was pretty loud. I was filming for Coley. So, like, I really didn't have a chance to take in your tune. But I liked your guitarist. I liked your stage energy. But again, I wasn't really able to take in the lyrics or anything. So that being the first song that I heard, it hit hard for me because I was like, whoa, like spot on, like nailed the feeling.
Yeah.
And so I was like, okay, time to, like, you know, this is gonna be legit, you know. And again, not that because it was on Apple Music, I didn't think it was gonna, you know, I figured it was gonna be good. You're nominated for a fucking, you know, Cleveland Scene Award, so I figured it would be good. But again, I think that was such a good song for you to start the album off with, just to like really set the tone and, like, you know.
Well, I'm an asshole, so when I was working on this album, I was like, we're going to start the album and we're making people cry, like, right off the beginning. Yeah. Like, I was like, I'm going right for the jugular, like, immediately.
Another thing, too, I wanted to ask, the album artwork, I was intrigued by that. I was trying to maybe, like, you know, maybe it doesn't have any meaning at all behind it, but I had a feeling after listening to the album, you know, there was the rain, and did you come up with that?
Yeah.
Is that something you feel comfortable at?
Oh, yeah. So I've always loved drawing. So when I was a little kid, I always loved drawing and stuff. And my mom wanted me to be this, like, Disney animator. That was, like, always her dream. I'm like, that ain't happening. But anyway, so, like, I've just always loved to do stuff like creative outlets for anything, you know. So when I started working on this album, and I was like, all right, I didn't have the name yet, but I knew that I wanted to kind of incorporate my art somehow, right? Then when I came up with the name, I was like, all right, this is the hardest part. To me, an album cover, you know, I'm like, you guys can't see here, but I'm looking at the Blink-182 stuff, right? Like,
it's iconic.
Back in the day, when you would listen to an album, you would just stare at the CD cover.
And you take it out.
And take it out, look at everything.
Lyrics. Yeah.
And I just remember, like, listening to music and staring at the album cover. And, like, if the album cover didn't
fit the genre or fit the energy.
The theme or the energy, yes. It's like, it kind of, like, throws everything off, right?
Agreed.
So I'm like, this album cover is extremely important to me. So my first album, The Room to Grow, was a grenade with a rose coming out of it. And I was like, I need something that kind of, like, incorporates what everything has been like for me leading up to this album. And I was like coming up with all these ideas. It was like balloons with, like, darts thrown at them and stuff, all these different things. And the one day it just, like, hit me. I'm like a rain cloud over somebody, but the rain cloud's, like, blooming this beautiful, like, arrangement of flowers. So it's like, yeah, I've got this terrible thing hanging over my head, but look at what it like
is led to.
Look what it's led to. And I like as soon as I came with the idea, like my buddy Greg, who's like my best friend, I like send him stuff all the time, and he'll be like, trash. He's like brutally honest with me, you know.
Yeah.
To the point I hate him. Yeah, but it's like
you need that.
I do need that. I hate yes men stuff.
Yeah, for sure.
And when I was like, how about this? And then he was like, yes, that is exactly what you need. So I had a little iPad and I drew it all up.
I was just about to say, yeah, what'd you use to draw it up?
Yeah, I have Procreate on my iPad, and I just drew it up and went through a couple different iterations. You know, I think I had a snake plant originally, but
yeah, because I'm about to pull it up right now just to look at it. I like the color.
Yeah, so like I wanted kind of like a beachy, like coralish color. Also, I'm colorblind. So so that's very interesting too.
So how do you design?
A lot of what color is this? Oh, that's what that is. How about this? Why are you coloring it that way? Oh, what should it be? You know. Also, when I use Procreate, I'll like Google like coral, and then it will pop up, and I'll just pop it in there, and then use that as my color. You know, or I need blue instead of purple.
Can you see, sir? Like. Now on another subject.
Oh no, that's fine.
What kind of color blind is it? Like, I mean, I assume you don't just see in black and white. Like,
no,
that's not a thing, right?
So I have it's called ProTrans color blindness, and it's pretty much everything. Reds and browns I get mixed up, blues and purples I get mixed up, oranges and greens I get mixed up. It's like literally everything. So. Sometimes it just depends on the shading. So, like the grass, this is the thing that blows everybody's mind. The grass looks orange to me, and when it's dead, it looks green.
Whoa, so is everything just sort of flip-flop then?
Sort of, but I have colorblind glasses. So I have sunglasses and I have indoor glasses. So I put the sunglasses on, boop, everything looks like it's supposed to.
That's cool.
Yeah, I was that guy. You've seen those videos online.
Yeah.
Where people are bawling. That was me.
Oh, I don't blame you. I would be in the same fucking
I know, it's
That's
like
amazing.
Gone my whole life without seeing color correctly, and it's like, oh my god, I can tell that that's yellow and that's green and not the same color.
Does Alicia help you get dressed every morning?
Yeah. No, she'll be like, she'll say stuff. She still hasn't, she keeps forgetting, you know, and she'll be like, oh my god, that's right, I forgot. But everybody still does that. Like,
yeah.
They'll be like, what do you mean? Oh, yeah, you know. So,
it's definitely ironic. You made your own album artwork and did everything, but
yeah,
a guy with, you know, color vision issues, that's impressive though. But you probably threw your glasses on then, right?
No, I was all just like kind of like trust, you know. But Greg's always told me, he's like, I want you to do art without cheating. Just paint it the way that you look at it, you know what I mean?
But that could be really cool.
And I'm like, that's a good idea.
That's a good concept.
Yeah, I'm like, that's a good idea.
I could never come up with things myself though. Like I would try to create like my own cartoons or my own characters, and they would just look so stupid, and like there was no flow. Like I always used to think I could try to draw dragons. Terrible.
Yeah,
but the moment you put something in front of me that I already can like just look and
right, yeah,
and I can imitate it, then I it won't be perfect by any means, but I'll still be able to like accurately represent it.
Right, yeah.
Because like at my old office, I got they gave me an office, and the one wall was olive green color.
Okay.
And I don't know what I did I asked my boss, I said, can I paint like a Michelangelo on the wall? And he goes, do whatever you want. So I painted just the eyes and the headband.
Nice.
And it went across the whole wall. And by no means it wasn't perfect, but like people walked by and they called it the Ninja Turtle office. Like you knew that's who it was, chilling on the wall. So
I love it. Speaking of which, I just saw that new movie.
How was it? Really?
It's so good.
I've always loved the Turtles. Do you have a favorite one?
Donatello.
Oh, the smart guy.
Donatello from the first Ninja Turtles movie, Corey Feldman.
Yes,
Donatello.
I love the first movie.
Yeah, that's like,
so good.
That's in top 5 of like my movies, like period.
Yeah.
Which is silly because it's a Ninja Turtles movie, but it's more than that.
No, it's
a movie about family.
It's the nostalgia
and that too. Yeah.
Master Splinter, like his little rat costume.
Yeah, I mean, it's.
What'd you think about the Vanilla Ice in Part 2, the second one?
I mean, I was little when it came out, so I loved it. Like now, looking back, and a lot of people the second one is like their favorite because of that. But
Nah.
the first one was dark and it
Yes.
was like gritty, and I love that shit, you know?
Yeah, for sure.
And the second one, watching it as an adult, it's like, wow, this is definitely more for kids. But I mean, like, that's literally what the Turtles are, you know? So it's like, you got to remember that.
Did you ever play those games on the Super Nintendo?
Oh, yeah.
Dude, where you just, the button mashers where you're just walking across.
Yeah, just hitting the foot soldiers.
Yeah,
yep.
me and my dad would play that for hours, and I just love, like, those games just give me so much, like, throwback memories of, like...
They have, like, a collection of them on Xbox, so, like, I have that on my Xbox every once in a while. I'll throw that up. And
little button mashers.
Yeah. Pleasantly surprised.
I have an Ninja Turtles tattoo on my leg right here.
Oh, yeah!
So, like... Definitely one of my, like, all-time faves. Well, then, that's ironic that we were on this topic, because I was going to then ask you, one of the random questions I had for today was, if you could be any cartoon character, which one would you be and why?
I'm going to choose Fry from Futurama.
Oh, I like him.
Not only because my hair looks like Fry, but he's so stupid, but he doesn't care that he's stupid. He just goes through life, doesn't give a shit about anything, what anybody says about him. And he's in the future, man.
Yeah.
Like,
No, that's cool. I think if I was going to be a cartoon, I think, who was that? Oh, I think I really relate to Butters. I mean, I'm not, like, the butt of every joke, but, like, I just feel like I have that kind of, like, personality.
cartoons are great.
They really are.
They really are. They're just good.
It's just a good escape from reality. I feel like everybody needs one of those.
Yeah.
Like, you need to have something that whether it's a hobby or... Like, it could be exercise, it could be creative, it can be, working your mind. Everybody needs an outlet just to, like, where you can turn your brain off, stop, just enjoy something for yourself and not, like, worry about... Because everybody's got problems.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So, like, if you have that option to, like, for an hour a day or 30 minutes, whatever, and you have that moment where you can just kind of... have that peace of mind to yourself, doing something that you love. I think that's so critical to, like, your mental well-being.
100%.
Like, I assume music probably helps for you with that, but do you have any other kind of hobbies or interests that you enjoy?
I mean, I do, like, video games or something.
Yeah.
So, like, once a week, I got 3 of my friends. So it's, my best friend Greg, my buddy Mike. So you've heard Mike on at the end of Better Off. He's at voicemail. He's like, "Oh, you're a rapper. Why are you doing an R&B album?" That's literally what because we kept telling him I was doing an R&B album. He was getting so mad. And then my friend Amelia, who lives out in California, so we play this game called Sea of Thieves on Xbox every week. We've been doing it for 5.5 years.
That's so cool.
So,
and you guys have like a scheduled time and day?
Yeah, so it's like almost, it used to be like every Tuesday, sometimes it's every Thursdays. We kind of like switch it up.
You guys have like a group chat to like plan it out?
Yeah, we've got
That's
a group
sick.
chat. Yeah, so, and the cool thing about Amelia, right? So,
yeah, she got the 3-hour time difference.
yeah, so Amelia and Greg became friends like on Twitter, I think, like a long time ago.
Before it became X?
Yeah, before it became X. So it was like 12 years ago maybe or something like that. And I told you, me and Greg became friends because of like music and stuff. He used to film stuff.
Yeah.
And Mike was just like one of my friends. So I'm like in the know about all these, like this one video game company called Rare. And
Rare.
so they did like Banjo-Kazooie. Yeah.
Yes, I know.
Oh man, so good.
Don't even get me fucking started.
That's one of my favorite games of all time.
It's so
Banjo-Kazooie podcast coming soon.
Dude, the in-depth of that game was incredible. Like, for a story game, that you had so many things in each world, and I was just and some of the challenges to get those jigsaws, like, it was 2-part stuff. Like, it was,
oh, yeah.
That was very in-depth for, like, what was it, 1998, 1999?
Yeah, and, like, going, everything the way it was designed, like, going through the big castle
Yes.
and going to those different things, and
the world.
having to do something to unlock something else
Yes.
is just so, like...
over the top.
It's just so
I loved
genius.
it. Did you have a favorite world or level?
Oh, the
Halloween
yeah,
one?
the Halloween
That was
one.
always cool. I was like the snow one. Like,
that was good,
the
too.
Winter World, the one with the what was it, the camel, the like the desert.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
They had so many cool different like themes and worlds, and the one was really in depth. It was called like TikTok.
Oh yeah, you would like go into the
to different
times.
seasons,
Yep.
and like you had like in order to get some puzzle pieces, you had to do something in spring and then do it in.
So cool.
Like, how did they think of
I
that?
know, so cool. So I love Rare because of that.
Yeah.
And then like, you know, they had Conker's Bad Fur Day, they
Yep.
had GoldenEye, they were just like all the hits, right?
Yeah.
So like I heard Rare was making a new game, and I'm like, oh, it's a pirate game. This makes sense because they always have like pirate themes in their games and stuff. So they started doing like these open like betas, like so you could play like on the weekend, and they marketed it as like you need 4 people to play this or whatever, this pirate game. So I like hit Greg up and I'm like, you want to play this? And he's like, yeah, sure. He's like, I got this friend named Amelia. She lives in California. She'll play. So me, Greg, and Amelia would play, and then with my other buddy Bob. Then Bob kind of like fell off, and I was like posting screenshots of it on Facebook.
You need a fourth.
But yeah, but I was just posting because they look cool or whatever. My buddy Mike, who had never played Xbox in his life, he's like, my kid's got an Xbox. I was like, come on in, play with us, and we just had a fucking blast.
Because
right?
you guys all got the headsets.
We're all
So
talking to each other, yeah, and it's just like so much fun. So learning more about Amelia through Greg, it was like they only had met through Twitter. They've never met each other in person before.
The power of the internet.
So I'm like, that's
so cool.
I'm like, that's wild, right? So
have they ever met yet?
So fast forward to 2020.
Cool.
Amelia's like, I'm booking a plane ticket to Ohio or whatever. So
Was it
Amelia,
a surprise?
no, we
Okay.
knew.
Oh.
So she came for 2 weeks. She stayed with Greg for a week. She stayed with me for a week, and it was the first time we ever met each other. She's been back to Ohio 2 more times since then, and it's just like
That is so fucking cool.
so crazy that Greg and Amelia met on Twitter. Then we all started playing as a crew, and now we're like super close because of this game. And like sometimes we don't do shit. We just go on the game, play for like 4 hours, and just catch up, just talk.
Well, I know. I don't want to keep you too long. I just have one more question. My favorite, like the Cosmo corner. I'm a big movie guy. I'm a big music guy. I'm sure you can tell. All-time favorite music album and all-time favorite movie.
I'll start with movie first. Training Day.
Ooh, I like that one. That's with is it Ethan Hawke?
Yeah, and Denzel
Yes.
Washington.
That's a good one. That's the one where he makes him like smoke the joint or whatever.
Yeah.
And then he goes, it was laced. He tells me it
Yeah.
was laced with something.
Something about that movie, man. It was like when it came out, when I watched it, and like the people I was with when I watched it, and I used to just watch it all the time. Like, you know, like we were talking about being an only child and stuff. I used to work at Papa John's, so I would like work late when I would get home from Papa John's. I would just throw a movie on, and it would always be Training Day. I don't know. Damn, now I want to watch it tonight. But I still own it on the DVD. You know?
Yeah. But it's a comfort thing, I feel like, with repeat movies. Like,
Something about it. I haven't watched it in a few years, though, but...
oh, you might be due up tonight.
Yeah, maybe I will tonight. Yeah, Training Day for sure. Album, though, oh, man, it's so tough. BC Boys' Hello Nasty album, which is funny because it's 25th anniversary this year.
Which is that the one with like Intergalactic?
Intergalactic's on that one.
And anything else that I would know, maybe, or
3 MCs. That's like 3 MCs
Yeah.
and 1 DJ. That was on there. That album, when that came out, so I remember being at like school dances and like Intergalactic being on or whatever. I was like, oh yeah, this shit is sweet. And like we were all breakdancing and stuff. That was like our thing in 7th and 8th grade. And
gotta impress the girls.
right, yeah, because that's, you know, they're like, oh my god, I can't wait to hold your hand later. But then like they were playing, you know, Fight for Your Right, and then they would play like Paul Revere and I think Brass Monkey, right? They would play whoever the DJ was at our dances loved Beastie Boys.
Clearly,
Now
yeah.
I'm thinking about it. So then like, you know, this was like before like the internet and stuff. I mean, it was there, but you know, but it's like you couldn't look up stuff.
No,
I ended up, yeah, so like you had to go to like Coconuts. So I was like at Coconuts and I'm looking and I'm like, oh, Intergalactic's on this album, and I'm like, but Paul Revere and Brass Monkey and Fight for Your Right are on this album, you know. And then I'm like, oh my god, there's all these albums in between. Like I didn't know at that point. So I bought License to Ill, which was their first album, and then I bought Hello Nasty. I love License to Ill. But Hello Nasty was so different. So many samples on there, and the way everything was put together, like, there was no correct formula. It was just kind of like, this is how we're making this song. I don't care if it makes sense or not, you know? Nothing still sounds like Hello Nasty. Like, something that's just such a good album, and I take that philosophy with my music, where it's like, who cares if it makes sense or not? You know, like you were saying, all of a sudden he's rapping, or whatever the case. It's like, this is what feels good for me, that's why I'm going to do it. I don't care if it makes sense, you know? When I did Lost and Found, I remember Brad, my engineer, was like, when are the drums supposed to come in again? I'm like, the third verse.
Yeah.
Trust me, just the third verse. Or he's like, that's fine. I just wanted to make sure, you know, because it's weird to, like, your intro song to have no drums up until the end, you know? And it's like, I don't care. Like,
And you gotta let it build.
yeah, that's how I want it to be. And, like, that album, for sure, nothing will ever compare to that album. So.
Well, cool. I've really enjoyed talking with you so
too,
far,
sir.
man. Like I said, we've never really chatted until now, and I think this was awesome. Before we wrap up the show, let's talk about Cleveland Scene again, 2023. Make sure you vote for Zup, Best New Album. You can vote every day, right?
Yeah, so it's if you go to scenemagazine.com, I think, or clevelandscene.com.
Yeah.
If you just Google Cleveland Scene,
It'll come up. 'Cause I
yeah.
already voted one time for all my usual picks for, like, you know, Best DJ, Coley Colgate, Best Karaoke, Corky's Place, Best Album, Zup. I think I put Best Late Night Eats, My Friends.
Yeah.
I love going to My Friends, a little fucked up. It just hits hard.
It is, oh yeah.
I've gone in there sober, and it's just really not the same. Like, it's still good, but it tastes so much better.
Right.
After the little beer goggles or the, you know, 4 or 5 Tito's sodas I've had.
Right.
Is there anyone that you would like to shout out and tell, like, people to vote for besides yourself, obviously? But, like, is there anything that you're supporting or a cause or?
Yeah, I mean, like Apostle Jones for, like, best band. Mikey Silas, who's also in Apostle Jones, for best male vocalist. Like, my buddy Marcus Smith is up for a bunch of stuff, including best album. But sorry, Marcus. You know, maybe don't vote for Marcus for best album. My man Toby Raps is up for best hip hop artist. There's a bunch of people.
That's cool.
But yeah, I love this album so much that I created, and the fact that it's nominated, like, I want this. Like, I want this win, you know?
You need it.
Yeah, it's like...
I mean, not just, like, I think you deserve it, for one. I'm biased, but two, after the Rovers story...
please don't let me come in second.
I don't want Coley giving you any more shit.
There's been times where I haven't won something and I don't want to know, like, how... I don't want to know if I came in second. Like, don't even tell me.
If I don't win, that's fine.
That's fine. Don't tell me.
Just don't let me know where I
Yeah,
finished.
please tell me I'm in last place. But yeah, like, I really want this win just because of how much this album means to me and how much I needed to do it for my mental health, and hopefully it helps other people too. And it's like,
yeah.
So anytime it would get nominated for, like, an album award type thing, like, I want it. So I'm just happy that I'm nominated for it. And yeah, you can vote once a day and up till August 29th.
And where can they find all your music?
You can find it on any place you can stream music. I also have it for free. Some people can't afford or don't want to pay for streaming services, so I have it up on YouTube for free. And then just put it up on SoundCloud, actually. I didn't think about that, but somebody told me you should put it on SoundCloud. So there's free outlets, and then, you know, if you already have streaming services,
you'll find it.
You'll find it, yep.
Apple Music, super easy. I had no problem looking it up today. I'm going to check out your first album, too. I kind of thought about, like, trying to do back-to-back, but I wanted to focus on the newer one because...
It's a big difference.
Yeah.
So this new album, no swearing at all on it. Last album, can't find a song without it.
All my favorite words?
Yes, yep.
Well, that's going to wrap up this episode, I think. I feel really good about this. I really appreciate you coming over here, Zup.
I appreciate it.
And that's going to be another episode of Stay Beautiful, America. I love you guys. Have a good one.
Stay beautiful, motherfuckers.
What's up,
dope.
Cleveland? It's the face of the franchise, broadcasting live from the West Bank of the Flats, enjoying the sunshine and beautiful weather, and of course, these West Bank 10s, which, as we know, are East Bank 7s. But nevertheless, we got the perfect remedy to cure what ails you. We got brand new Zup music. That's right, he is back. Zup, right here on Nervy J's Radio.
Y'all, I finally feel like I'm done healing.